In the dazzling constellation of musical royalty, few stars burn as brightly or as enduringly as Diana Ross. From her iconic reign with the Supremes to her luxurious retreats in Greenwich and Detroit, Ross has transcended generations, transforming heartbreak into chart toppers and turning her velvet voice into a $250 million empire. She wasn't just the shimmering frontwoman of Motown's crown jewel. She was, and remains, the definitive voice of an era. But beyond the glimmering gowns, sold-out tours, and timeless ballads lies a woman of ambition, resilience, and quiet power. This video invites you behind the curtain, exploring her extraordinary real estate portfolio, enviable car collection, and the deeply human chapters of her personal life. Welcome to the universe of Diana Ross, the diva, the mogul, the legend. Before the glitz, the Grammys, or the galaxy of fame, there was simply Diane Ernestine Earl Ross, a spirited girl growing up in the rhythmic heart of Detroit. Her journey didn't begin on a stage, but on the streets of the Motor City, where dreams were often hard-won and rarely handed out. Born on March 26, 1944, Diana Ross entered the world as the second of 6 children in a bustling family led by Ernestine and Fred Ross Sr. And here's where fate threw in one of its little quirks. Her mother named her Diane, but thanks to a clerical hiccup, the birth certificate said Diana. That mistake? It stuck. It glittered. It became iconic. She spent her early years on Belmont Street, nestled in Detroit's North End, a working-class enclave where Motown melodies seemed to hum from every corner and futures were built on grit. Just a stone's throw away was a young Smokey Robinson, yes, that Smokey, whose friendship and quiet encouragement would echo through the years. But childhood wasn't always carefree. At the tender age of 7, Diana's life was suddenly uprooted when her mother fell severely ill with tuberculosis. With Ernestine hospitalized, the Ross children were sent to live in Bessemer, Alabama, with their maternal grandparents, Reverend and Mrs. William Moulton. Under their watchful eyes and the Reverend's Baptist sermons, Diana absorbed the values of discipline, faith, and quiet strength. It was here, far from the buzz of Detroit, that her steel was forged in the fires of family and faith. When Ernestine recovered, the Ross children returned to Detroit, reuniting in a city that was still rough around the edges but filled with promise. Eventually, the family moved into the Brewster Douglas housing projects, a name that might not sound glamorous, but the hallways were alive with the same ambition that would soon spark the Motown revolution. Diana was already humming her own tune. At 14, she enrolled at Cass Technical High School, Detroit's academic crown jewel for gifted students. While others struggled to find direction, Diana had laser focus. She threw herself into fashion and design, mastering everything from tailoring to millinery. Her goal at the time wasn't music, but fashion. She dreamed of becoming a designer, and she was already setting the foundation. But Ross didn't limit herself to one lane. She worked hard, studied harder, and hustled harder still. She took extra modeling and cosmetology classes on the side, some of which, as Smokey Robinson later admitted, he helped pay for. He knew talent when he saw it. Diana joined the swim team, styled her neighbor's hair for cash, and, quietly but significantly, broke a racial barrier when she became the first African-American busgirl at Hudson's, the flagship department store in downtown Detroit. These may have seemed like small victories to the outside world, but for Diana, they were early glimpses of how far she could push the line. By the time she graduated from Cass Tech in January 1962, Diana Ross wasn't famous, not yet, but the ingredients were already there: resilience, drive style, and a work ethic sharpened by adversity. She didn't have a record deal, but she had momentum. She wasn't a headline act, but she had presence. And most importantly, she knew who she was and where she was going. That next step? It wouldn't just shape her future, it would transform the sound of American music forever. Before the spotlights, before the platinum records and standing ovations, Diana Ross was simply a 15-year-old girl from Detroit who carried nothing more than a voice and a dream. That dream started to take form when she joined a local girl group called the Primettes, the female counterpart to the Primes, a male vocal group. It was raw, it was humble, but it was the spark. In those early days, Diana wasn't yet the global icon we know today. She was just a teenager chasing melodies in church basements and community centers, carving her path one harmony at a time. That spark caught fire after a talent show in Windsor, Ontario, where the Primettes made a lasting impression. But it wasn't just luck. Diana made her own breaks. She reached out to Smokey Robinson, her childhood neighbor and rising Motown insider, asking for a chance to be heard. Smokey agreed, with one condition, that the group let his band, The Miracles, bring along their talented guitarist, Marv Tarplin. Done and done. And just like that, Diana Ross walked through the doors of Hitsville, USA, the heartbeat of Motown Records. It was more than a building, it was the place where legends were made. Berry Gordy, Motown's founder, saw something special in Diana and the group, but he wasn't ready to sign them. He told them to finish high school first. They were too young. Most would have walked away. Not Diana, not the Primettes. They practically became Motown's unofficial interns, showing up daily, singing background vocals, clapping on records, fetching coffee. Whatever it took to stay close to the dream. That persistence finally paid off. In January 1961, Gordy signed them, but with one caveat: they had to rebrand, and thus, the Supremes were born. Their first brush with the charts came in 1963 with When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes, a minor hit that barely cracked the top 30. But it opened the floodgates. Gordy made a bold call and moved Diana to the lead vocalist position, a decision that would forever shift the group's trajectory. Their next release, Where Did Our Love Go?, skyrocketed to #1 in 1964, and that was only the beginning. Between 1964 and 1967, the Supremes racked up 10 #1 hits, redefining the girl group genre and putting Motown at the epicenter of American pop culture. But fame often comes with friction. Florence Ballard, one of the founding members, struggled with personal challenges, particularly alcoholism. In 1967, she was dismissed from the group. That same year, the group was rebranded once again, this time as Diana Ross and the Supremes, marking not only Ross's growing prominence, but also foreshadowing her inevitable solo flight. Even before her official departure, Diana began testing her wings. She booked solo TV spots, appeared at public events, and explored projects outside the group. And on January 14, 1970, she stepped onto a Las Vegas stage as a Supreme for the last time. It was a dazzling farewell, not just to the group, but to a chapter of her life. The solo era had officially begun. Diana wasted no time. Her debut solo album, Diana Ross, dropped in May 1970, and it was a confident, soulful statement. The same year, she released Everything is Everything, followed by Surrender in 1971. Each album told the world what Motown already knew. Diana Ross didn't need a group behind her to shine. She was the spotlight. In late 1971, she cemented her crossover appeal with a primetime television special titled Diana, not just a music event, but a full-on entertainment showcase. By the late 70s, Diana was ready to make a bold move. After 2 decades at Motown, she negotiated her exit, accepting a $250,000 severance package in exchange for her freedom. Then came the record-breaking deal with RCA, $20 million, the largest contract in music history at the time. Her first RCA album, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, 1981, was a triumph, going platinum and silencing any doubters who wondered whether she could thrive outside the Motown machine. Over her solo career, Ross has released 25 studio albums, not counting live and soundtrack projects, and over 90 singles. Her chart success is staggering: 17 top 40 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, 12 top 10 smashes, and 6 songs that hit #1. She became not just a voice of her generation, but a symbol of longevity, reinvention, and enduring relevance. And she's still going. In 2022, Ross received a Grammy nomination for Thank You, her latest album. A year later, she hit the road again with the Music Legacy Tour, reminding audiences why her name still lights up marquees. From the US to the UK, including a sold-out show at London's Royal Albert Hall, Ross proved once again that she's not just a legend, she's living history. Yet Diana Ross's story isn't just told in music, it's also told on film. Her portrayal of Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues, 1972, earned her Golden Globe and Oscar nominations. She followed with Mahogany in 1975 and the iconic The Wiz in 1978, a bold, all-black reinterpretation of The Wizard of Oz. Later roles in television, like Out of Darkness, 1994, and Double Platinum, 1999, showed her dramatic range and her ability to connect across generations. Through the decades, from smoky Motown studios to film sets and sold-out stadiums, Diana Ross has remained an enduring cultural force. Her artistry transcends format, music, film, television, fashion, and her influence continues to ripple through pop culture. Even at 80, she isn't winding down. She's still singing, still performing, still dazzling. Because legends like Diana Ross don't fade. They adapt, they inspire, they endure. Alongside her glittering legacy in entertainment, Diana Ross has quietly built a financial empire. Her real estate portfolio is a reflection of her sophistication and status, featuring properties that exude privacy, elegance, and timeless luxury. From California to Connecticut, each home tells a story, a chapter in the life of a woman who redefined what it means to be a star. These aren't just houses, they're sanctuaries, symbols of success, and lasting testaments to the woman behind the music. Mansion in Greenwich, CT. For years, Diana Ross found her peace and privacy in one of the most beautiful and elite spots on the East Coast, a lakeside estate nestled in the rolling hills of Greenwich, Connecticut. Valued at around $39 million, this magnificent property was far more than just a home. It was a reflection of Diana herself, graceful, timeless, and deeply personal. Carefully designed and curated to match her taste and lifestyle, the estate became her sanctuary, a place where the music faded, the lights dimmed, and life could finally slow down. The estate's design blends classic New England charm with luxurious modern comforts. From the moment you enter the gated driveway, you're welcomed by lush greenery and mature trees that create a natural curtain of seclusion. As you continue along the winding path, stately stone facades and warm, traditional architecture come into view, elegant but never over the top. It's the kind of understated sophistication that perfectly suits a woman who has lived in the public eye but never needed to shout for attention. This is where elegance meets ease, where family life and high-end entertaining are both equally possible. Step inside the main residence, and it's clear that every inch was built with purpose and care. The ground floor opens up into a bright, sun-filled gourmet kitchen, a space that's equally suited for hosting friends or enjoying a peaceful morning coffee with views of the lake. The layout flows beautifully into formal and informal dining areas, a pair of his and hers home offices, and even a special room dedicated to arranging fresh-cut flowers. There's a roomy pantry with its own pet corner, showing how personal and practical the home truly is. The 4-car garage offers added convenience, and a private staircase leads to a cozy guest wing with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and its own living area, ideal for visiting family or close friends. The second floor is anchored by a luxurious master suite, complete with a private balcony overlooking the grounds, a large walk-in closet, and a separate laundry room. 2 or 3 more bedrooms are available for family or guests. Up on the 3rd floor, there's yet another bedroom and bathroom, plus a tranquil yoga room, a serene, light-filled space where Diana could unwind and find her balance. But this estate goes beyond typical luxury. On the lower level, you'll find a full 3-story indoor basketball court, yes, 3 stories, along with a professional-level gym, recreation areas, and separate living quarters for staff. There's even a guest house elsewhere on the property, fully updated with its own bedroom, bathroom, and a bright open living space. Everything about this home was built to accommodate both grand moments and intimate ones. And then there's the hidden gem, the lake house. Tucked away in peaceful seclusion, this standalone retreat feels like something out of a storybook. It can serve as a quiet workspace, a guest cottage, a creative haven, or just a place to disappear for a while. With a built-in bar, dressing area, laundry, and the cozy atmosphere of a luxury cabin, it's the kind of space only someone who spent decades under the spotlight would know to cherish. Private, calming, and deeply restorative. Every room, every garden, every corner tells the story of a woman who reinvented herself not only through music and film, but in the way she chose to live. Amid a life filled with global tours, red carpets, and fame, this was her place to simply be, quiet, powerful, elegant, just like the icon herself. Mansion in Detroit. In the heart of Detroit, where Diana Ross's extraordinary story first began, there stands a majestic property that once belonged to the music icon herself. Today, it serves as both a dazzling piece of real estate and a powerful symbol of her elegance and connection to the city that raised her. Priced at $7 million, this estate is more than just a house. It's a love letter to classic American architecture, restored with the kind of care and taste that only someone with Diana Ross's sense of style could appreciate. Covering an astonishing 2,000 square feet and spread across nearly 5 acres of lush, landscaped grounds, the property strikes a perfect balance between privacy and sophistication. It's a rare gem in the city, a place that feels grand and intimate all at once. Every inch of the home has been revitalized with precision, preserving the original artistry of its historic bones while introducing modern comforts that make the estate feel completely up to date. It's not just a renovation, it's a reawakening. Inside, the home is a showcase of rich craftsmanship. Mahogany paneling lines the walls, wrapping each room in a deep, luxurious warmth. Stained glass windows scatter colored light across the floors, turning sunlight into art. Intricate wood details and towering ceilings give the estate an almost cathedral-like presence, honoring the past while still inviting modern life to unfold. This isn't just design, it's storytelling and architecture. With 15 spacious and beautifully appointed bedrooms, the estate was clearly built for more than just living. It was made for entertaining, inspiring, and hosting in true diva fashion. Whether welcoming guests or enjoying solitude, the home offers space to breathe and room to dream. One of the standout features is the indoor swimming pool, a serene and stylish amenity that perfectly complements the home's historical character. And hidden beneath it all lies a fully finished lower level, a flexible and expansive space perfect for a home theater, wellness area, or private retreat from the outside world. Of course, someone as iconic as Diana Ross would also have a taste for iconic cars, and over the years, her choice of vehicles has reflected the same qualities that define her public persona: timeless, graceful, and undeniably luxurious. She's been seen cruising in classic, high-end cars that speak to her legacy, vehicles that, like her music, never go out of style. Whether it's a sleek Mercedes-Benz or a vintage Rolls-Royce, each ride Diana chooses adds another layer to the legend. Let's take a closer look at the cars she's been known to use the most. Cars, a bold mix of elegance and muscle, the Chrysler 300 stands out as a modern classic, just like Diana Ross in her understated, off-stage moments. With its sharp lines, wide stance, and powerful yet smooth performance, the car radiates confidence without ever needing to shout. Inside, the roomy cabin delivers both comfort and class, making it easy to see why Ross would be drawn to it. It's refined, stylish, and quietly commanding, much like the diva herself when she's not under the spotlight but still turning heads. Step up a notch, and you have the Mercedes-Benz S550, a luxury sedan that doesn't just promise comfort, it redefines it. With buttery soft leather seats, ambient interior lighting, and top-tier tech under the hood, This car offers a driving experience that feels more like gliding than cruising. Its advanced driver assistance systems and whisper-quiet ride create the perfect environment for someone who spent her life moving through the world with grace and precision. The S550 is the kind of car that makes a statement without saying a word, perfect for someone like Ross, who's mastered the art of subtle power. Now let's talk royalty on wheels. The Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. This isn't just a car, it's a statement piece. With its iconic spirit of ecstasy leading the way and handcrafted interior details that ooze luxury, the Silver Shadow embodies the golden age of high-end motoring. This is the kind of car Diana Ross could step into after a sold-out show at Carnegie Hall, wearing a floor-length gown, effortlessly glamorous, vintage, timeless, and impossible to ignore. This car and Ross were clearly made for each other. And then there's the S-Class, specifically the more modern, ultra-luxury versions that elevate everything the S550 has to offer. Think of it as a 5-star hotel suite on wheels. With next-level comfort, advanced sound insulation, reclining rear seats, and even massaging functions, this is where technology and indulgence meet. It's a ride that fits Ross's life perfectly, a career defined by constant elevation, always reaching for the best and never settling for less. The S-Class doesn't just transport you, it cradles you in pure refinement. So if you had the keys for just one of these iconic rides, which would it be? Let us know in the comments. Diana's dream garage might just have your next favorite car. Personal life. Behind the glamorous gowns, sold-out tours, and that unforgettable voice lies a personal story just as rich and emotionally layered as the music Diana Ross has gifted to the world. She's not just a legend on stage. She's a woman who's lived boldly, loved deeply, and raised a family with fierce devotion. Her romantic history is filled with moments of joy, heartbreak, and profound transformation, each one quietly shaping the woman the public thinks they know and the mother her children know best. One of the most well-known chapters in Ross's personal life began with her relationship with Berry Gordy, the iconic founder of Motown Records. The two became romantically involved in 1965, right when the Supremes were dominating the charts. Their relationship was kept relatively private, but it had a lasting impact. In 1971, Diana gave birth to her first child, Rhonda Suzanne Silberstein. At the time, Diana was already married to music executive Robert Ellis Silberstein. Just 2 months into her pregnancy with Rhonda, she had walked down the aisle. In a gesture that speaks volumes about Silberstein's character and Ross's hope for stability, Robert agreed to raise Rhonda as his own, fully aware that Gordy was the biological father. For years, Rhonda believed Berry Gordy was simply Uncle BB, until the truth was gently shared with her at age 13. It was a story of quiet strength, of protecting innocence in a world obsessed with exposure, and a glimpse into how Diana Ross balanced stardom with motherhood. Ross and Robert Silberstein went on to have 2 more daughters together. In 1972, they welcomed Tracy Joy Silberstein, now known to the world as Tracy Ellis Ross, the award-winning actress and producer, and in 1975, they had Chudney Lane Silberstein, who would later pursue a successful career in television production and literature. But fame, with all its pressures, eventually took a toll on the marriage. The couple divorced in 1977, ending a relationship built on mutual respect, but strained by the weight of the spotlight. In 2023, a surprising revelation came to light. Smokey Robinson, Diana's longtime friend and Motown colleague, shared in a candid interview that he and Ross had once shared a year-long romantic affair. At the time, Smokey was still married to Claudette Robinson, who also happened to be one of Diana's close friends. The affair, according to Smokey, ended when he confessed he still loved Claudette, and Diana made the difficult decision to walk away. Her response? Silence. Ross declined to comment through her representatives, leaving the truth to live in the margins, another layered chapter in a life that has never lacked intrigue. Between 1980 and 1983, Ross dated Gene Simmons, the famously flamboyant bassist from the rock band Kiss. The relationship may have seemed unlikely to fans, but it was genuine and full of passion. Though their worlds couldn't have been more different, Motown royalty and hard rock glam, the connection was real. But like many of her romances, it eventually faded, paving the way for something even deeper. That deeper connection came in the form of Arne Næss Jr., a Norwegian shipping magnate, mountaineer, and entrepreneur. Diana met Arne in 1985, and a year later, they were married. Their union blended their families and created a new chapter for Ross, one rooted in love and travel and shared dreams. Diana became stepmother to Arne's 3 children, Katinka, Christopher, and Leona Næss, who later became a singer-songwriter, and the couple had 2 sons of their own, Ross Arne, born in 1987, and Evan Olav, born in 1988. Their marriage lasted until 2000, ending after it was revealed that Arne had fathered a child with another woman in Norway. Still, Diana never spoke ill of him. In fact, she once called him the love of my life, proof that heartbreak doesn't always erase love's impact. In 2004, tragedy struck when Arne Næss Jr. died in a mountain climbing accident in South Africa. Though they had divorced, his death deeply affected Ross and her family. She remained close to his children and continued to cherish the bond they had created. Through it all, Diana Ross showed the same grace off stage that she was known for on stage, strong, composed, and quietly full of love. But Diana's strength wasn't just tested in matters of the heart. It was built early on, rooted in the Baptist church and shaped by her childhood years in Alabama. When her mother fell seriously ill with tuberculosis, young Diana and her siblings were sent from Detroit to live with their grandparents, Reverend and Mrs. William Moten. There, inside the pews and pulpit of Bessemer Baptist Church, Diana discovered her voice, not as a superstar, but as a young girl leaning on faith. That church became her first stage, her first audience, and her first lesson in resilience. She would later reflect on those early years in her autobiography, Secrets of a Sparrow, crediting them as the foundation of her spirit and her strength. Yet even icons stumble. In December 2002, while undergoing treatment at a rehab facility in Tucson, Arizona, Ross was arrested for driving under the influence. It was a moment that caught the media's attention and shocked many fans. For someone so often associated with elegance and poise, it was a reminder that even legends are human. Ross served a brief 2-day jail sentence in Connecticut, took responsibility, and moved forward with grace, as she always has. That's the Diana Ross legacy. It's not just about dazzling performances and chart-topping hits. It's about finding your way back to faith when life shakes you. It's about protecting your children, even when the world is watching. It's about love, messy, beautiful, complicated love. And it's about never letting one chapter define your entire story. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed walking through the extraordinary life, legacy, and love of Diana Ross, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear what part moved or surprised you the most. And if you're into stories that blend music, fame, and the real lives behind the spotlight, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. There's so much more to come. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.